Here is your Bull and Bear Stock of the Week. Well, an oil pipeline company and a top financial company make up this week's Bull and Bear of the Week. Without giving too much away yet, Shiraz Mian is sitting right alongside me here. He's going to fill us in on the details. You may be surprised to find out which is which. We'll start with the Bull, as we always do. El Paso Corporation, EP, the ticker symbol. That's that oil pipeline company that I mentioned.
I hope I don't disappoint the viewers after the nice build-up you made.
Well,
El Paso, let me say, is one of those 2-for-1 deals.
okay.
Is that exciting enough?
Yeah, let me know how.
It has two major businesses. Both are the leading players in their respective industries. One that you mentioned, the pipelines. This is El Paso owns the largest interstate pipeline network in the country.
Okay.
In fact, about a quarter of natural gas consumed in the country flows through El Paso's pipeline. And then it also has a top 10 exploration and production business within its business mix. And what they are trying to do is to split itself into two, a standalone pipeline company and a standalone exploration and production company. This should get completed by the end of the year. They'll most likely have an IPO and give the rest to existing shareholders as a dividend. And that's how you get the 2-for-1 deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now the pipeline, as I mentioned, is the leading, most largest player in the country.
Right.
They have network throughout the producing and consuming markets in the country, which gives them a lot of growth opportunities. The pipeline business is also the majority owner of the El Paso Pipeline Partners, which is a publicly traded master limited partnership. And this MLP plays a critical role in the long-term growth prospects of the eventual standalone pipeline company. The pipeline company, once it becomes independent, will have a very strong cash flow business, very stable, and will be paying out a substantially bigger dividend than the combined company is paying right now. The prospects for the E&P business are very good. They have leading acreage positions and assets in all the major shale producing regions of the country. And based on production and reserves, they are within the top 10 within the E&P space of the country. Mm-hmm. So overall, very good two stocks within the El Paso umbrella right now.
So if the company does split into two companies, they will each be traded separately, each have their own ticker symbol?
That's right.
Separate listing?
That's right.
The whole thing. Is there a timeline for that to happen?
It should get completed by the end of the year. That's what the management has guided towards.
Very interesting. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one.
That's right.
Well, Goldman Sachs Group, GS, the ticker symbol, is the top financial company that I mentioned. It is the Bear of the Week. You know, there's really been no shortage of headwinds facing this company, it seems, lately.
That's right.
But I was kind of surprised that it would actually fall into the bear category despite that.
It is. And I probably need to explain as to why we would have an underperformed recommendation on the stock and pick it as the Bear of the Week. But just briefly on the headwinds that you referred to, post the Great Recession and the financial meltdown that we faced in 2008, which basically eliminated about three of Goldman's major competitors, Bear Stearns, Merrill Lynch, and Lehman Brothers. Mm-hmm. There's been a ton of regulatory and legal changes under which these standalone brokerage firms, as well as the large financial firms, are operating under. Many of those details are still being worked out with regulatory and legal names like the Dodd-Frank legislation, like the Volcker rule. We will see those details in the coming months, but in a nutshell, what those new rules do is they lower the risk profiles of these firms, and number two, they make these firms to keep more capital to absorb future losses, to make them safer. Now, if we look at Goldman as a standalone firm, it has broadly two businesses. Number one is the investment bank,
right,
where it advises corporate managements and boards of directors on mergers and acquisitions, corporate restructurings, and raising equity and debt, like through IPO and secondary offerings. And that business remains standout, blue chip, and best of the line on Wall Street right now. The second business is the trading business. And that's the business where they trade stocks and bonds, options, futures, and these exotic derivatives, both over the counter and exchange traded. And it is here in this trading business where most of that regulatory impact will be.
Yeah.
And the feeling from our end is that the changes that are taking place materially weakens the trading franchise that Goldman has had. This is a key business for Goldman. The division within which the fixed income currencies and commodities business, which was the main cash cow within Goldman resides, accounts for about half of Goldman's revenue. We saw in the latest quarter when they reported results, they had a 20% negative surprise, primarily because of soft trading revenues. Pretty much everybody on the street still has an outperform rating on the stock. But in our recommendation scheme, we don't look at what the analysts are saying in their recommendations, but what are they actually doing with the estimates, and estimates are coming down, both for this year and also for next year. So while these analysts with outperform recommendations are saying that the long-term prospects for the firm remain good, but what they are doing then in their models is they're cutting the estimates for as long as 2012 as well. And our research shows that when estimates are coming down, the stock price remains under pressure. And our sense is that these trading issues are not temporary but more enduring. And this less profitability for Goldman is primarily the reason for our bearish stance on the stock.
Interesting. Well, if you like the Bull and Bear of the Week video segment, you will simply love the Bull and Bear of the Day in text form, and that's located on our homepage, Zacks.com. We put one new bull, one new bear up on the homepage each day for you, and I encourage you strongly to check those out because there's some interesting reading there as well. With Shiraz Mian, I'm Terry Ruffalo.